All right, well, there it is, the lovely intro that you have so well orchestrated there, my good friend Chad Lemans. Anyway, hey, if you're just tuning in, welcome to This Pink Cloud. It is a show based on recovery, mental health, all that good stuff, but we support multiple pathways. So whatever works for you, if you want to explore it, this is the place to learn about it. We're infotainment here is what I like to consider us.
Nice.
Yes, we're infotainment. And actually, if you are on the YouTubes, please hit subscribe. It is so hard to get people to hit subscribe, so I will give you 1 second to subscribe.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. Plug before content.
Right.
Every time, dude.
So there. Then also we are on all other streaming formats. So please, subscribe there.
And then
Blah,
he
blah,
keeps
blah.
plugging.
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because I wasn't done with my plug.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, but sitting in with me all the way from Houston, Texas, our good friend of the show, sobriety enthusiast,
Thank
right?
you. Yes.
Yes. Max the Axe, Max Paderewski from Lone Star Injury Attorneys, and you are a personal injury attorney and a fan of what we do here on the show.
Yeah, the number one fan, I'd say.
I don't know why, but you and my dad.
Yeah.
You and my dad. So.
You do great things here, man. You're helping a lot of people.
Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely.
And then sitting next to me on my left is the man, the myth, freshly out of county and freshly out of Brazos recovery. My buddy boy, Chad Lemans. Hey, yeah, and he's running the board. He's running the board. He's running the board, so it is a little special today.
Yeah.
Hey, and across the way from me, all right, dude, cool. Sitting across from me is the one Dirty Dan Nybrand.
What's up?
Yeah, and you are with, you're actually selling cars now, but you were with.
No, I'm not selling cars.
Okay.
I'm working on cars.
Working on cars.
Get your fucking
I'm
facts
slinging
straight.
wrenches.
Getting dirty still.
Yeah.
Correct?
Dirtier.
Dirtier.
I'm
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for coming in, dude. I know it's a little trek for you, but the guest of the hour. I love this. I love this girl because she is a cheerleader for everybody else and never really gets a spotlight on it, but never really wants a spotlight on herself. One of the unsung heroes of the recovery community, and just a great person and all around good human being. One Dawn Michelle Gardner, everybody. And you are actually also working with an organization called the Phoenix.org, right?
Yes.
And they're an aspect, or what I like to say, something a piece or a tool that somebody could put in their sobriety toolbox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a resource, it's a tool, it's a community, it's a movement. We're smashing stigmas.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's all, and there's really no parameters except you have to be sober 48 hours to come to an event.
Right. And it's not just for folks in recovery either.
Yeah.
It's for their allies.
Okay.
Guys we've touched with what we've done. We've had people that are members at partnerships where gyms and stuff where we have events. They're touched by what we're doing and they're volunteering their time now for more programming.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool. But they actually started out of Colorado, correct? Am I correct on that?
The idea was sparked in Boston, but
Okay.
yes, national is in Colorado.
Yeah, because this is like a big thing. So it's like, something nationwide, right?
No,
Is
we're
it
international
international?
now.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like it, dude. And y'all have an app that we're plugging today, right?
We do.
Okay, so and if they want to get to that app, what is that address for the app?
thephoenix.org/app.
Okay, and then you can probably find that on any like just any your phone,
Any
in the,
smartphone.
yeah.
There are hundreds
Right.
of apps with Phoenix in the name.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually start by typing a sober active community Phoenix, and it will pop right up.
Okay, cool.
It'll have this emblem on there.
Good to know. Good to know. Perfect. Well, okay. So usually what we do is we have the guest on the show, and they kind of tell a little bit of their story, what they want to share, and then I know you and I have a little commonality as far as it not being all, rainbows and unicorns after we get sober. So let's talk about where it started for you, and if you want to work in how great I am, you can. No, I'm just kidding, because you know me as a DJ, so as
Yes,
well.
if anybody knows, I followed Kelly when I was in high school.
Ooh.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes,
Nice. On the Edge Club, right?
I did.
Nice. I like
Nice.
it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where my dependence started, but I do know that it was a problem and accepted that it was a problem.
Right? How
And
long
started-
did you navigate that or try to?
15 years.
Well, that's a long time.
Yeah, at least 15 years.
Yeah, okay.
And I had gotten arrested for my second DWI.
So was your DOC mainly alcohol or what?
Yeah, or any party drug. That was where I was at.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And unfortunately, started getting addicted to prescription drugs
Okay.
for depression and anxiety. Overtook them.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, whatever you want to share about that, the history of Dawn, and then what made you decide to change and all that stuff. So.
Real cool story. I was sitting in a bunk at Tarrant County Jail and pissed off at the world. What have I done?
Right.
I've
You
already
were
gotten one DWI. Not everybody had known about it, but what did I put my then husband through?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to put my children through? I'm a stay-at-home mom, and everybody's going to find out I'm a loser.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laying down on the bed, and I look up, and no joke, someone had carved, God put you here for a reason.
Mm.
And, my heart's always been big. I've always helped others.
Mhm.
I've always wanted to volunteer, but it was for the wrong reasons.
Sure.
Yeah. They were doing my checks and balances. I did this shitty thing. I went and did this good thing. I went
Right.
and did this
Oh,
shitty
okay.
thing. Went and did this good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get
There
it.
was,
Yeah.
and it helped me feel better about myself.
Right. So I can.
And I was helping other
I-
people.
I
That's
can-
not wrong
I
at
can,
all.
I can atone for doing this. Yes, I like it. Yeah. Okay.
So then I saw that and just bawled.
Mm. Right.
Bawled.
Yeah.
I probably drove the ladies on that block crazy.
Yeah.
And didn't have the courage while I was in there to speak to anyone on the phone, but my then husband.
Right.
And then one day he said, I think you should talk to your girls. And when that happened, and they were told where I was, how long I was going to be there, and kind of generally explained that I had done something wrong and these were my consequences.
Right. Mommy's going to be in jail for a while.
Yeah.
Huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was
What kind
when
of
it
time?
hit.
What kind of time were you facing, or potentially?
potentially facing a year.
Okay.
To this day, I don't know how I dodged that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well.
because I was on probation for the first when I got the second.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, and they're pretty. I mean, and that's all in the state of Texas. So then
Yes.
there's no dodging that, and that one was in a different state or anything like that. So
Right.
And then it's. I mean, I guess it's what, 3 strikes and you're out. Anybody? Yeah.
Tarrant County will smoke your fucking boots, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
No, they don't play.
So you're in there and facing jail time, but then you miraculously.
Get out.
Okay.
June 21st, 2018.
Okay.
So June 20th, 2018. While I was in jail, I couldn't drink anyways.
Yeah. Well, you can get that toilet wine.
So my official sobriety date was 21st, 2018.
Okay.
And on another story that connects to the bunk story,
Mm-hmm.
I was told by the person who had me in holding before they let me out, I'd already gotten to put my street clothes on, and they said someone needs to speak to you in the courthouse.
Okay.
And I'm like, there's no arraignment. I haven't heard from a lawyer. Why do I need to go to the courthouse? And apparently, I have a mutual friend
Okay.
with Judge Moon and her court clerk.
Okay. Well, that is good.
And
That's handy.
to this day, I don't know who that mutual friend is.
Oh, wow.
I was told to go to the courthouse.
Uh-huh.
Do not pass go. Do not get a drink. Do not collect $200. Do not tell your ride. Go straight there.
Mm-hmm.
In my street clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I did.
Okay.
I walk in, courtroom's empty. I'm like, what is going on?
Right.
I was then asked to have a seat, and the judge came in. The bailiff is there. Court clerk comes in, and they're like, Dawn, we need to speak to you. And judge asked if Lori, her name is Lori, the clerk, felt safe. She said yes. So then I was left alone in the courthouse with Lori.
Okay.
And she proceeded to tell me we had a mutual friend. Somehow, some way, they had found out what had happened. And they knew how good of a mom I was.
Right.
I didn't know how good of a mom I was then,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they knew.
Sure.
And she is a child of an addict
Oh, dang.
Okay.
and does not have a relationship with her father. Actually loathes her father.
Oh.
And proceeded to tell me she didn't want that to happen to me or my kids. And that's paying it forward, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
That's actually, somebody that learned how shitty it was to grow up without a parent.
Yeah.
And to have that parent be, an absentee parent and maybe trying to save your bacon,
Yeah.
by giving you your technically third shot,
Well, she's just one of the first of many who've contributed to the transformation in my life.
Yeah, well,
It changed.
let's hear it.
I don't think since that moment I felt like the victim in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked into other people and seen what their aspect could be, their opinion of it could be, what could potentially happen to them and me. I have boundaries,
Sure.
but
You have a little self-preservation in there.
yeah,
I got it.
So I was doing the work. From my lawyer, was told what I needed to do. Okay, the repeat offender, the VIP panel. You already have an interlock, so at least there was one more thing I didn't have to do.
What is that, interlock? I don't know.
Interlock is a breathing machine connected to the starter of your car,
there
and
we
I had
go.
already had it for 3 years.
Sure.
Why not more?
Right.
So, but this time I got an ankle monitor.
Oh, you got the
Yeah.
the Lindsay Lohan.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I was taking care of business, making sure I was doing everything I needed to. But because I had gotten it while I was on the first one, a warrant for my arrest was issued. I just got out for the second arrest.
Yeah.
And she said, the person who had called my lawyer said, oh, go ahead and have a week, plan things out, get things set up for your ex. I mean, now ex.
Yeah, sure.
And make sure everything's good in the household. But you're going to have to turn yourself in.
That's always fun.
Yeah. That, not feeling like the victim anymore and wanting to be transparent and already going through everything I went through the first DWI, I was like, I don't ever want anyone to ever feel like this again.
Sure. I mean, that's just incredible anxiety, especially being a mom, man. I can only imagine just the oh my God, I am not going to see my kids for what, a year, possibly more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's when I started recovering out loud.
Okay.
That's when anytime, you have these thoughts when you're going in your car and you're like, I needed that today. I needed to come to that realization today. And some people don't. So you should share it.
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing that.
Right.
The first time with first DWI and having the interlock and stuff, I literally would duck down in my car in
Yeah.
a parking lot so no one saw me doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not going to go over with the soccer mom community.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's breathalyzing herself over here so she can start her vehicle.
Exactly.
Give her about 5 minutes.
My daughters weren't allowed to have friends in the car. I didn't want them going home and saying,
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Bailey and Ada's mom had a machine in her car. So I was still living in shame at that point. But this time, no.
Right.
Nope. And started offering rides New Year's Eve, every holidays. Guess what? You're going to be $15,000 in the hole if you have a DWI. I can help you out of that. Call me.
Right.
And this, or taking a picture of me blowing or a video and saying, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
You drink
for
and
sure.
drive. And started being an advocate. And I didn't really network at that point.
Did being an advocate make you feel like that I have some accountability now?
Yes.
Okay, so I
And
see
I see
that.
the ankle
yeah.
monitor as accountability. I now see the interlock as accountability. I now see having to sit through VIP panels as accountability. It's all accountability.
Right. Did you have any kind of experience with, like, I mean, as far as your recovery or getting sober, did you have any kind of 12-step or any kind of other program? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
What were the pieces to that? And let's talk about, because I always like to talk about multiple avenues and
Yes.
what worked and what didn't for you, because it's different for everybody. You know, like like I said last week, was that the certain steps, fit me.
Yeah.
But then there was a certain aspect that didn't. So, it's just like, let's hear your side.
Yeah. Before any of the arrests, I had gone to detox.
Okay.
I had gone to inpatient. And they didn't work, obviously. I was going to do this on my own.
And medical
I didn't-
detox, and that's like 10 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't need anybody's help. But after this,
So, what, medical detox, would you go to medical detox and then go, I'm going to get out and I can navigate this socially?
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to dial it back and drink normally.
Absolutely.
I love it.
That's what they
Or
call
I
the
just-
mental obsession.
I just need about 6 months off. That's all my brain needs to reset. My body,
Right.
everything's going to be fine.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's fine. We'll be
Everything's
fine.
fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. But after that second arrest, I was like, you got to change your plan. If we do the same things over and over, expecting different results, it's literally insanity.
Sure.
So I changed it up. I needed something to where I had UA tests. I needed something to where it was a little bit tougher, that challenged me and got me out of my comfort zones. I was still controlling my recovery, if that makes sense.
Right.
And you're supposed to let go of it.
Right.
So I went to an IOP,
Okay.
individual counseling.
Right.
And I
that's
worked
intense outpatient for.
intense outpatient.
Right.
Yes.
Intensive outpatient
There you
program.
go. And you are in that right now. there,
I'm in
Chadwick.
there, dude. I'm
Nice.
in there.
But anyway, so you were doing IOP and what else?
And I worked the steps with a professional.
Okay.
I went to private counseling and I worked the steps with a professional.
Oh, okay.
I tried AA.
Yeah.
I kind of cycled through 3 sponsors, and it wasn't due to chemistry that I lost them. So, and
That's
there-
funny that you took the steps and actually worked them with a professional, instead of actually, how it's quote unquote supposed to be, But I
So
mean,
I have
that's cool. Go ahead, Dan.
I got a question for you. So
Sure.
yeah.
you were
Danny.
saying earlier you got to the point where you weren't feeling like a victim anymore. Did that happen when you were in jail, locked up for the second DWI, or did that happen from working the steps?
The first realization was looking up at that message that was on the bottom of that bunk. I mean, it was
Was
just
that your spiritual awakening? Kind of, sort of?
yeah,
Yeah?
it was, because I cried for 2 straight days.
Oh, wow.
And it was just so cleansing. I never realized. I always refer to crying as something that you do when you're weak or when I'm extremely angry, but it was so cleansing.
Yeah, well, because it's tough to be happy Dawn all the time,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I get it. So
Well, a lot of people don't realize that victim mentality, man, is like one of the heaviest chains that we carry that keep us
Yeah.
locked in active addiction, you know. And once you're able to step away from that, you know what, I have some responsibility here. I have some, you know, big changes can start happening then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you stay in the victim mentality too when it doesn't have to be a physical action that's done to you. You know, a lot of people want to say, well, this happened and it drove me to use. No, your reaction to the adversities that you were facing drove you to use.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
And-
That's good stuff right there.
yeah, it's your reactions
Yeah.
to adversities. We used, that was a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you choose not to be a victim, you choose to find the positive in it or try to find a solution, let go of control of it, you're changing your mentality and you're no longer a victim.
Mm-hmm.
You're, what is it? There's a word.
You're no longer a victim. You are a. I don't know.
Dang
I
it.
don't know. I don't know where you were going.
Someone
but-
who takes over, conquers, does it,
Oh,
makes it happen.
you are Alexander
A
the Great.
conqueror.
There we go.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, it's good.
That was it. There we
Speaking
go.
of victims, I think this would be a good time to plug our buddy Max because he does law for victims that get hurt.
There you go.
Thanks,
nice
Chad.
one, Chad.
What a
Way,
Yeah,
to,
that
way,
was
to,
smooth as fuck,
transition.
way
right?
to throw it at that one, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chad. Yeah, my name is Max Paderewski. I bought the domain name This Pink Lawyer. Big fan of the podcast. In fact, fan number one, I would say. I practice personal injury law in Texas and California. You know, just doing great things for clients, putting a lot of effort into every single case. And the rewards, I mean, are showing, man. The results are happening. Last week, got a very big verdict for a case that a lot of lawyers would have thrown away. $209,000 for someone with permanent neck pain, no surgeries, nothing like that, but someone who's going to have to deal with that for a long time.
Yeah, and they
juries are tough.
actually have some money to navigate their life with that malady.
Yeah, now that they
Yeah.
can get the treatment they need,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like it's an amazing thing. Where
Big up, dude.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and thanks for coming out, dude, and thanks for always supporting the podcast. And I mean, with little prodding, you know, you were just in there. You were like, "Hey, this is a good thing. I'm gonna get behind it." So I
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely, man.
your patronage.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then also we have a new sponsor. Actually, it is called NeuroGlow, which is NEURO. And then glow, GLOW.com. If you go to that website, they actually do ketamine infusion therapy. It is for PTSD. It is for people that are bipolar. It is for people with special needs. It is for people actually in recovery. They've found that it actually is working for people in recovery. So hit them up at neuroglow.com. They have offices in it is McKinney and Flower Mound. So you know, hey, if you're treatment resistant, might be a pathway for you. I don't know. Don't know. But anyway, so back to your goodness. So you're finding, you know, the thing that's crazy is you work the steps with a psychiatrist or your physician or whatever they were. But so then that helped, and then what else were you throwing, you know, or what other tools were you utilizing in order?
Couples therapy
Okay.
for my marriage.
Okay, how'd that go?
We were both putting in the work.
Okay.
It was not one-sided.
Okay.
We both wanted it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And we became different people
Okay.
who still have so much respect and love for each other.
Right.
But we became different people.
Yeah, you
through
maybe
what
grew
we
apart.
experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, I
No?
don't think it was really grow apart.
Okay.
When you focus on performance rather than potential, you're achieving things. You're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You're staying out of comfort zones.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
I like that. I
And-
need a T-shirt
You
with
chip
that on
away.
there. Give that to me again.
Sign me up.
Give me that quote again.
Performance.
When you focus on performance
Uh-huh.
and not potential,
Yeah.
you go places.
There you go.
Doing things.
There we go. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brain hurts.
And for me,
Mm-hmm.
in my growth and having that mentality, I'm a little less an addict with every single thing that I achieve. I'm always going to be an addict, but I'm a little less an addict the more confident that I get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same thing happened to him.
Okay.
And we both love our kids.
Mm-hmm.
We both love life. And we wanted to make the best for it rather than trying to put a round peg into a square hole.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's square peg into a round
I
hole.
want it to
I
be
get
the
it.
other way around.
I get it, though.
It
I
works
get
both
it.
ways, I think.
I get it. That works.
So yeah, with getting sober, it was actually the night I graduated from my IOP.
Okay.
I went home, and after close to a year of couples therapy, said, "I want to separate. I think we need to figure out who each other are," and we did.
Okay.
And 2 years we were separated.
Okay.
But we also used that time to learn how to communicate as
Okay.
co-parents. We also used that time to liquidate assets so it wasn't a difficult divorce. We also used that time, to figure out if we even did want to see other people and if that space created a newfound love for each other. And it didn't,
Okay.
and that's okay.
Right.
And now we have an amazing friendship.
Okay.
So it brought divorce. And
But at least it was like an amicable divorce.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It was intentional. Yeah. Very
yes.
thoughtful.
And to this day, he's extremely supportive of anything that I do. Phoenix, completely support. He's even come to events,
Right.
and he's just present.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
I love
But
it.
this also brought us.
Well,
selling our
I mean, I
home.
love it that y'all had an amicable split, and that I mean, not everybody can do that successfully, and then also keep the kids out of it. That's a big part of the equation. It's not like mommy's talking shit about daddy.
Yeah, no.
Every chance she gets. So I think that's a great thing.
Where there's love, stuff grows. Where there's not, and there's disrespect, it suffocates. And yeah.
Can I just have you like walking around and talking in my ear all of your amazing quotes all day?
See,
I read a lot of positive material. It's another tool.
That's
to
really
put in your
crazy.
toolbox.
That's really crazy.
Well, and that's why I love her, because I mean, if you have her, she emanates that positivity, and then it's like my friend Maxie over here. You just get that positive vibe. It makes you want to do stuff. And makes you want to be motivated and all that stuff. Did you have a question?
Dude,
or
I
something?
did have a question.
Yeah, go
Thank you.
ahead, dude. You don't have to raise your hand here.
Oh, I just
ahead,
didn't want
dude.
to interrupt the flow,
No,
Kelly.
it's all
You got
good,
it going on. You said the thing that I liked, which was, it's not about those things that are making you upset. It's about your reaction to those things, right? That sounds like some cognitive behavioral therapy stuff, right?
Oh,
do
yeah.
you have any experience in that? Like I know you got couples counseling. Was that cognitive behavioral therapy, and are you familiar with that stuff?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was in the couples counseling, and it's also why I chose to go with a professional to work the steps.
Right.
So it didn't seem on autopilot.
Yeah, right. You really do have to follow your own steps in reacting to something like that.
Correct.
It's like you don't blame the thing. Well, this thing's annoying.
Correct.
No, it's how you react to it.
Correct.
Is that-
And
that's how you-
sometimes people I talked to who were with certain pathways that had worked the steps, they said that chemistry with the person that they were working with hindered the progress of their work.
Why is that?
Because they're getting hit on.
Well,
Well,
no,
it
that's
could
that's why girls are supposed to be with girls and guys were supposed to
it
be
could
with guys.
be.
But
He's
yeah, it
got a
could
good
still be
point.
getting hit on.
Right.
Because
really
you do get
crazy.
hit on, and women hit on women.
Yeah,
men
that's
hit on
true.
men.
That is
And,
true.
But they didn't have the same communication types. Their schedules couldn't meet. One would get upset and the other didn't understand why. So with a professional, it's all on me.
Yeah.
Right.
When ultimately, I'm the one that needs to do it anyways.
Were you like calling your therapist at like 2 a.m. or whatever? Or did you have that kind of avenue?
She let me have an email thread with her.
Okay.
With her that was nonstop.
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
good, and
That's
she was
helpful.
actually responsive to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I respected her boundaries.
Yeah.
When she said Sundays,
I'm not
you
getting
need
back
to find
this.
another account.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Sundays you might have to white knuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I get it. So, but you're doing all this stuff and taking all these different angles, and then I see you because I'm, a newbie. I'm freshly sober. I'm just out, and I hear about all these sober things that start happening, like events. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll just go to this, the Phoenix. That sounds fun. I'll go to an event that's like, a 2K or something pretty simple. And I actually see you there. And then we kind of reconnected that way. I actually saw you because you were actually in a wheelchair at that time because of you had an accident. But I was like, oh no! I go, oh, what a sweet little handy-capable girl. And I honestly thought you maybe couldn't walk permanently.
No.
And I didn't realize it was like,
I had fractured my sacrum and broken my tailbone.
The fuck is a sacrum?
Yeah, how did
It's,
that happen?
Low part of the spine.
I was playing volleyball with some friends. I bumped the ball over.
This is when you're sober too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
cool.
yeah. And I was bumping a volleyball over, watching my shot go, and for some reason, a teammate twice my size,
Yeah.
football smacks me
Oh,
after
no.
I'd hit the ball, and I went airborne and landed.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
my
Was that concrete?
Do y'all
or
know what your sacrum is?
Yeah.
It's what
No.
attaches your hip.
Actually, Max will tell you.
It's
No, I'll let her tell. She's the one who broke it,
it attaches your hip bones. It's not like a small vertebra, but it's a group of 5 fused vertebrae.
Ah.
And I had a transverse fracture all the way
Oh.
across.
Not,
Yeah.
Damn.
That's where we probably used to have a tail.
And I actually got really lucky.
It is.
Really lucky. It could have involved surgery and a lot of
Yeah,
physical
because I mean,
Yeah,
you
and
get
that's a
all
big surgery.
that
Yeah.
jumble of nerves down there at the bottom, and you can really mess up some wiring for like permanent.
Oh
yeah,
you
the
got spinal
transverse
cord.
fracture was only on one side.
Mm-hmm.
If it would have gone through, yeah, it could have been bad.
Right.
I really love like how Kelly uses words like amicable whenever he's talking about your divorce. That was like a $12 word. And then when he's talking about the bone sacrum that we just learned, which was like a $12 word too, he's like jumble of nerves. Yeah.
Did you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Kelly's
Anyway,
full of shit.
hey, let's talk to Michelle about like the organization and kind of hear why you were here to plug, what's going on. Because like the thing is we know it's a sober active community, so it's got like I know rock climbing, kayaking, stuff like that. But then if you're not that active,
Right.
there's other activities. So let's talk about all the activities you go on because you are the event coordinator, right?
I'm the programs coordinator over Fort Worth,
Okay.
and Eugene Barnes is program coordinator over Dallas.
Okay.
And I actually found the Phoenix when I was nearly 100 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dry relapsing for about a year.
Wow. What is?
And-
hold on. Stop the bus there.
Yeah.
What is dry relapsing?
All the characteristics of using without actually using.
Oh, so it's what people would
Isolation.
call
She was
like
a
an
dry drunk.
Yeah, a dry drunk.
Yeah.
Or an angry drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Separated,
Uh-huh.
or was about to sell a house, having to buy a house or rent a house.
Sure.
And I was just
But
like,
you put 100 pounds on that little frame?
yeah, I was
Holy.
heavy.
Wow.
I was heavy.
Okay.
And I had a roommate who was going through an IOP. Granted, I'd already finished all mine.
Mm-hmm.
And was working my steps, was reading positive material, was starting to go to church again. And she had a hike she was going on with a group called the Phoenix.
Okay.
And she asked me to go. And I still didn't want to go because it was a hike outside in the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it actually involved physical activity.
yeah.
It's a lot of work.
And
Fuck the woods.
there's no beer involved.
Yeah.
But I went and I had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, the Fort Worth chapter had about maybe 6 people in it. And now the DFW chapter has close to 4,000.
Wow.
Wow.
And
great.
We are all about recovering out loud, smashing stigmas, accepting all pathways. And we were prominently active events like CrossFit, kayaking, mountain biking.
Right, and
which
then
is what
that's-
I'm still scared of because I face planted the first time I did it.
We do not want to have you wind up in a wheelchair again.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Part 2.
Right.
That was actually fun though, and my
Being in
shoulders
a wheelchair?
look good.
I got
ever since
I got jacked.
The gains are permanent.
There you go.
But we also have opened up to new programming
Okay.
where there's an interest that someone has that they don't necessarily share with others. That's what you could share. If you
Yeah.
like to bird watch, there's going to be other people that like to
Right.
bird watch.
Exactly.
If you like
Yeah.
board games and coffee, there's other people that are going to like board games and coffee.
Right.
You know, I even have Robin. She's one of our volunteers in Fort Worth. She couldn't do game nights anymore, but she still wanted to contribute. She now has afternoon tea at a really cool bookshop.
Okay.
You know,
Nice.
because not everybody works 9 to 5.
Yeah, and not everybody's sweet spot is being physically active.
Right.
So,
Right.
but maybe just the social aspect of it.
Exactly.
And I always say that that's a huge part of my recovery personally was community and a community aspect. And I think, with maybe 12 steps that's built in there, but then also exploring outside of there and just not having to talk about the big book or something like that, and just being able to be social with somebody that actually has, a similar story to
Yeah.
yours, so that's what I love about it. But, and the fact that so game night, and then I know there's also tennis, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was actually my challenge
Okay.
when I said I wanted to volunteer. It took me a while because a big part of my recovery was learning how to say no
Yeah.
and not overextending myself and getting burnout.
Right.
So I was hesitant to volunteer, even though I thought everything about Phoenix was absolutely amazing. But I was like, don't get into something. You're still dotting I's and crossing T's, getting out of this, But then when I did, the regional director at the time said, so I see you play tennis. And I was like, yeah. And he's like,
That was just a resume filler. I don't really
yeah.
play tennis.
How? We don't have tennis like that.
Right.
And he's like, why don't you get us some programming started for DFW? How do you do that? It took a phone call.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
Right.
An idea and a phone call. Well, several phone
That's
calls.
so much, though.
No.
Just phone calls, man. That's just tough.
Unless
work.
No.
unless it's IT across in India, then
Yeah.
but
You,
other than,
when you say you're a sober, active community and we're changing lives,
yeah, people want to get behind it.
people want to get behind that.
Yeah.
And we have free programming now for tennis and pickleball at
Yeah.
McClellan Tennis Center with impact activities.
Right. What is
Nice.
Yeah.
what
Yes.
exactly is pickleball for those of those people that don't know? I know I've seen it around, I've heard stories, but what is pickleball?
I was reluctant.
Uh,
And yes, I'm a positive person, but I'm a stubborn old tennis player that did not want to learn a new game or new rules.
Right.
And so I was hesitant to start it, but I played for the first time. It's a mixture of ping pong and tennis.
Okay.
Or I guess you could say badminton and
Badminton?
tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thrown in there.
And they got cool stuff called the kitchen. And you can't hit it in there. Get out of the kitchen. I mean, people yell at you. Get out of the kitchen.
Nice.
And the rules were a little, it took me a while. When your brain's trained, love 15, 30, 40 game.
Yeah, sure.
Add.
Oh yeah.
None of that
Yeah.
is in pickleball. So,
You're like, y'all are making up your own game, man. This is bullshit.
but Mike leads the pickleball out in
Okay.
Fort Worth.
Okay.
And our schedule's out for October, too, if anybody wants to take a look at it.
And they
on the
can
app.
go to what? Thephoenix.org
The
on the
Phoenix.org/app.
Okay, but it's also y'all also have a website, a web address that they can go to, and then if they want to commit to downloading an app, then all that information is on the app.
The Phoenix.org is the website,
Yeah,
and the Phoenix.org/app
is the app.
is the app link.
Right, and in the app link, y'all have all kinds of stuff to like as far as signing up for events. It's like user friendly for.
Well, yeah, and there's virtual events too
Okay,
right.
for someone who's not quite ready to enter the social scene with going to in-person events.
right, kind
We
of like
also have
Chad.
virtual events.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
virtual and on-demand meditations.
Oh, okay.
We have-
so you
yeah.
have meditations as well.
I've gone to Colorado, California. I've looked on the app, found an event, did pumpkin carving.
Yeah, how
at
many
Halloween
states?
in
That is
Colorado.
cool.
How many cities and states are you in?
Over 50 states. No, over 30 states.
Yeah.
I was gonna say over 50 states.
Yeah, and the
That's
and-
only 2 more.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and
No,
DC.
over 30 states.
Yeah.
Over 200,000 members.
Wow.
And I think we have close to 300 volunteers.
Wow. So pretty much every major city
Now,
in the U.S.
are you? Do you just do this on a volunteer basis, or are you actually an employee there?
I did do it on a volunteer basis for close to 3 years.
Yeah, I remember it. You
And an
were always
opportunity-
there, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you got to support and work things that
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benefit you, and it's a huge part of my recovery.
Right. And then now you're full time though.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am full time.
And you actually get
came along.
insurance and fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fun grown up stuff like that.
Yes,
I got it.
Are you guys still taking activities to treatment centers like you were with Turtle Creek?
we are. I actually just worked out with Fort Behavioral this morning out at Panther City CrossFit and played kickball at Healing Springs last week. Yeah,
Nice.
I try to get out to at least one a week.
Well, and then you have another event after this, right?
Huh?
Or do you have another event today after this or no?
My daughter's show opens at Stage West. in
Okay.
Fort Worth.
Whoa.
That's sweet.
What
called-
show is it? You want to promote it?
Yeah.
Sure, it's called Look Up. It's with KWC Performing Arts in Fort Worth. It's a great group of kids. They're also entrepreneurs. They're trained how to budget.
I love that.
Yeah, start events for fundraising. And they've been around for a little over 30 years. They're in the heart of the cultural district in Fort Worth. It's an
love it.
amazing,
Well, cool. That's
amazing
cool. Very
organization.
cool.
That is fun. Yeah, thanks for coming out, man. And I mean, I don't know if anybody else had any questions, but I mean, I really appreciate you, making the time and making the drive because you're coming from Fort Worth and we're in Dallas,
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, but
It's good seeing you.
It's good to see you too, Dan.
yeah, but anything, I mean, just look up thephoenix.org. I'm looking on your shirt right now, thephoenix.org, and they can find.
You told me to do it.
Yeah. Yes.
But other than that,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And I mean, it's a long time in the works to actually get you out here. And
It's a little over a year we tried to do it.
I was like, hey, you want to come on the show? Okay, fast forward a year later.
Not gonna lie, it scared the crud out of me. When
Did
first-
it?
Yeah. Oh
Did
yeah.
it?
One
Yeah.
of my goals for 2022 is to learn how to speak in front of other
Well,
people.
and I love that you also said this about your recovery is getting outside your comfort zone. And if you actually do stuff outside of your comfort zone, then I think you grow as a person, and hopefully in a better way. So that's my thoughts on it.
Confidence is another tool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that was a big problem of mine is a social anxiety. Is just actually talking to a room. And especially as a coordinator of sober events, you have to, hey, by the way, you might want to get over that quick.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks for coming out, man. Dan the Man, thanks for sitting in with us. Max the Axe, Chad Lemans, I appreciate you guys. And let's see who we got. Oh, Chad, we have your story coming up next week.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are excited to hear that. I'm sure it is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. But anyway, I appreciate everybody watching. Be sure and subscribe. And then remember, there is no magic pill for sobriety because if there was, we would all take too many.
I'd be addicted to that for sure.